Hey, board gamers, BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, back with another episode of Gumbo Live. It's episode number 33 in season 2. Gumbo Live is the #1 Facebook Live talk show dedicated to board gaming. That's because, Chris, we're still the only talk show dedicated to board gaming on Facebook. Our special guest tonight, Christian Strain from Kraken Games, Breaking Games, coming back, another visit. Happy to talk to him. Gumbo Live is a proud member of Punchboard Media. Check out the other fine members like the Draft Mechanic Podcast. Jake and Danielle Bach do a great job of combining their love of beer and board games into a great podcast. Punchboard Media, where we all bring something to the table. Hit me up on social media tonight, Twitter @BoardGameGumbo, or on Facebook, facebook.com/BoardGameGumbo. We're going to be looking for your questions on the chat, but let's get right to our guest, Christian Strain. Hey, man, welcome back to the show.
How's it going?
It's going great, Christian. Hey, listen, I know you're on here before, but for anybody that hasn't seen you or hadn't heard from you, why don't you give us a quick elevator pitch? Tell us who you are. Tell us a little bit about Breaking Games.
All right. So I'm working full-time for Breaking Games. Most recently, if you're into Kickstarter, you know them from Rise of Tribes. They did a great campaign last year. But they've been around for a while. I mean, they've got hundreds of games under them, really. And if you ever go to Target or anything like that, you're going to see games from them over there. The Game of 49.
Sure.
Let's see. Sparkle Kitty's one of the newest ones, if you've heard of that one. That one came out at the same time as Asking for Troubles. Asking for Troubles is one of them. Obviously, I should know that one. Yeah, there you go. I do all kinds of stuff for Breaking Games, development work, graphic design. I was a Kickstarter campaign manager for Rise of Tribes. So pretty much anything they needed to do, I jump in there and do it.
Yeah, and I got a picture up on the screen right now. Asking for Troubles, great game. I was one of the Envoy heralds that demoed it a couple of months back. And when you were on the show, remember talking about it. Yeah. Asking for Trouble still out there. You've got to be happy that with the support you're getting from Breaking Games on that game, right? Oh
yeah. These guys are great. I mean, we did. They came out in Gen Con with the reprint, like I said, same time as Sparkle Kitty actually. And I wish I had pictures of the booth, but the booth was huge. It had all kinds of stuff, and we had these hats. Of course, I don't have any hats here, but we had these hats, these big, tall, orange hats that had Trobils on them and stuff like that. It looked like the monster was eating your head. And so people would come up to the booths and be like, oh, this is where the hat is. It was great. I mean, we had hundreds of people trying it out, families and all kinds of stuff. So,
man, I had a picture of it somewhere and I just don't have it right now.
I actually have one in the other room. I just don't want to get up and leave the show, come back and bring it.
Yeah, I used to have a picture of it on here. I'll probably still have it somewhere in here, but
we had them for PAX South as well. They're pretty great. I mean, it's a strange thing. You don't see people utilizing that. You know, here's a free hat, free paper hat kind of thing. They're pretty cheap to make, but yeah, it's just fun.
There's our friend Jerry Davis, the Game Geek Ninja, said, hey, the hats were hilarious. I mean, we saw people wearing them all over the place over there.
Yeah, and the best part is that they make you 7 foot tall because they're so, up here. So, like even at BGG Con, I'd walk in there and I'd just see like hat. You just see them, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, last time Alex Goldsmith was on, he gave us a little taste of what it's like to be a Kickstarter dude, running a Kickstarter campaign for a party, for a company. So I'm not going to go. I feel like we got a little bit better handle of it after talking to him. But you do a lot of the graphic arts and production for Breaking Games, and of course, when you were doing your Asking for Troubles with Kraken Games. So let's talk, if you don't mind, real quick. Maybe I could go through what I think a day in the life of a graphic art dude is.
All right,
and let's see if we can see if that's right. Hold on one second. Let me get this down here and make it easier. All right, so. Let's see. Are we seeing this on the screen there? A day in the life of a graphic art dude. Let's see if this is right, okay? And you tell me yes or no, or maybe explain some of these things. First off, wake up and eat boudin from T-Boys. I mean, you're right across the river from Louisiana. So I'm sure the first thing you do, you got to fuel up, get some boudin.
Drive a few hours down to get it. Yeah. There is actually a kolache shop a few ways down that has boudin kolaches that I get.
Boudin kolaches. You can't beat that. How about the next one? Play Asking for Troubles and Fate of the West until lunchtime. Right?
Yeah, you got to find people to play with. That's the problem. Is I'm not a big solo gamer, so I like playing with people. So,
well, the third one's got to be right. Eat at Papa Do's for lunch, of course.
Now, do you like Papa Do's?
I've eaten at Papacitas once, and I've never eaten at Papa Do's. I don't think. Maybe I've eaten at Papa Do's once.
I was always curious how people from Louisiana thought of Papa Do's.
I thought it wasn't bad if I remember right. I did like Papacitos. I mean, I like Chewy's better. If I'm going to go to one of the places in Houston,
I agree.
I think I'll do Chewy's. But number 4, obviously Doodle, right? I mean, that's part of
those all over the place.
I mean, you're prolific on Facebook. You know, a lot of times you're just posting different things that you doodle during the day. So I'm assuming that's part of the job. And of course, last but not least, leave the shop and head to Cowboys for a nice beer, right?
Cowboys, is that I don't know that place at all. Is that in Houston or is that over there?
Every town has a Cowboys.
Oh, yeah? Houston would have one, I guess.
I was in a country music band 20 years ago, and every single city had at least one Wranglers or Cowboys. We could always count on one of those stores. So how close was
every street in Houston, right?
How close was it? Is that a pretty fair, accurate representation of what a graphics art guy does?
No. First of all, you said wake up in the morning. That's not what
All right, so tell us what is it like being a graphics art the person that's in charge of the graphic art or the production or any of those things for companies? What is that like?
Well, in charge is a very light-handed word. It's more of a teamwork kind of thing, and it all depends on projects. Sometimes I'm in charge of a project. Sometimes I'm just helping out with other projects. Other people are in charge. You know, we all help each other out. So, like for instance, I just got done doing a 3D project for a game I haven't even played yet. But whoever's in charge of that sent it to me and said, "Hey, can you make me this real quick?" You know, so sometimes you just get small little stuff like that, and you're like, "I wonder what that was about." And when it comes out, I'll see. Probably the next convention I work, I'll say, "Hey, this is my thing." You know? So there's a lot of that stuff, especially since Breaking Game has so many titles. But I mean, sometimes, for instance, this one game I was doing development work for Breaking Games called, actually, we just changed it. I think it's Wordhound right now.
Wordhound?
Wordhound. Okay. Yeah, it's a word game. Really fun. I was doing development work for it and graphic design stuff for it and stuff. So I was kind of pretty much in charge of that part of the graphic design part for that. So it differs every project, which is great for me. I'm chaotic. I like that everything's different.
Steve O'Rourke checking in. He actually, if anybody clicks on the chat and clicks on that little link down there below, it's a picture from you guys at Gen Con with the Asking for Trouble hats all over the place.
Oh,
so
awesome.
It's one of your Twitter photos. So thank you
great.
for checking that out. If anybody wants to check that out. So, Chris, you are a prolific guy on social media. You're always talking about the games you get to play or things that you're working on. So I always like following that. And some of the games you talked about recently, I thought maybe we could talk about some of your recent plays.
Yeah, sure. That's what we're here for.
One of the games that intrigued me and I finally got a chance to play it was one, and they've got a Kickstarter out right now, in fact, starting today, Sorcerer City. But Druid City Games published a game called The Grimm Forest.
Yeah. Have you seen that yet? Have you seen that yet?
I've played it.
Oh, you played it? Okay.
Yeah, this is the Gumbo group right here, testing it out for the first time at our little Gumbo night.
Is it your game or one of your friends' games?
That's Bradley's game, yeah.
Oh, okay. The reason why I asked is because I can't. It's rare whenever you get that kind of satisfaction from just opening up a game.
Oh.
When I open up that game and saw all the pieces, how the insert was put together, I mean, the production's through the roof. I mean, if you, look at those images. I mean, that's insane, right? I mean, it's wonderful. I was really happy with the artwork. In fact, just from professional standpoint, those little boards, like that green board that's right there, fits perfectly into the insert. and then the other boards fit on top of it, and it all just works perfectly. I on a professional level, I was looking at it thinking, this is awesome art direction.
But are we bedazzled a little bit by the production in this game? Let's talk about the game itself. What do you think?
Okay. So the game itself's solid. I mean, I don't have any problem with the game. But I think the direction you're going is it overproduced?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is whenever I was looking at the Kickstarter, I knew what the game was like. Because they did a great job of showing you how you play it and stuff.
Sure.
And I even thought at the time, like, well, from the game description and rules and stuff, it doesn't look like you need minis. It doesn't look like you need all this stuff. But it's just hard to turn down, obviously. If you like this kind of production and stuff and all, like I do, it is hard to turn down. I mean, could it be a card game just in a small box like that? Yeah, it could be. But I think Druid City, I mean, I've heard James say this before, that they want to make beautiful, great production games, So I don't think it was had I not paid attention to the Kickstarter and I opened it up and then played the game and not realized that it was going to be a pretty quick, fast, and even kind of a little cutthroat game.
It is.
Yeah. Had I not done that, I think I would have been... my expectations for the level of gameplay, because of how good the production is, would have been off-centered. But I was prepared for it. So, but I have heard people say, "No, enthusiasm doesn't hurt either." Now,
yeah. Jeremy says, "Hey, James, enthusiasm doesn't hurt," and he completely agrees with the production, with your notes.
Yeah, I mean, I think even Tom Vassell was talking about how it's one of the best produced or artwork stuff there. So yeah, I mean, you can't disagree with that. The only thing I've seen people say is that it might be the production doesn't go with the level of gameplay, which, like I said, I think they were pretty honest on what the game was, so it didn't bother me.
To give you my thoughts, I actually liked the game. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was very cutthroat. I don't mind those kind of games. We played Tournament of Camelot. I played it once, but the game group played it all night the other night. Literally, it stayed on the table all night. So we don't mind. We don't mind take that games, and that one has that level. And there was a thrill whenever things like, and I don't remember all the monsters, but I think one of them was the dragon and the werewolf and things like that. And when they came out and these big, beautiful minis just plopped out in the middle of all the cards, I got to admit, there was a visceral thrill in seeing that stuff. Yeah. There was an addition. But when you at the end of the game, and I started thinking about how the gameplay really was, it wasn't much more than your typical small box card game.
Right. Yeah, I think what they could have done, actually, they could have had a simple game and then a deluxe version. And what they probably ended up doing was just go, we don't want to make a simple game. Let's just make the deluxe version. And that's pretty much what everybody got, right?
Yeah, everybody got a deluxe version when you think about it. And again, I love beautiful games. I love having games that look awesome on the table. Hey, in some ways, Asking for Trobils, really well-produced game. Even in the version that Breaking Games had, I don't mind these big, giant, thick cardboard tokens. I mean, they're not little cheap stuff. These are really thick punch boards that you guys gave us.
Right, and the plastic ship, I mean, there's 28 plastic ships in there. You don't need plastic ships. You could have used tokens, So there's always a level of how good can we make this game? How much can we produce this game until people will think it's too much? So,
yeah, so I'm not complaining. And I actually, based on the production that came out, I'm excited to see what other games James and Derek and the rest of the team have. This one might have been,
right?
Yeah. That one, I don't know. That as much as I liked the gameplay in Grimm Forest, I didn't see much of what excited me yet on Sorcerer City. Maybe I need to look at it again, but it just didn't really jump off the page for me.
I just got home, so I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. I mean, I definitely will look at it because it's Druid City. I already know the production's going to be off the chart. And James is a solid gamer, so I'll see what it's like. It all depends. A lot of it now, I used to Kickstart all the time. I got way too many games now, but a lot of it depends on if I think I could get my game group to play it. And my game group's very particular. Sometimes I pass on games I think I'd want, but just like Batman, I passed on Batman other than the price point. But I just know I'd probably get it played once, maybe twice at my group, and then.
That's tough to justify $200, man. $140 just to get in, and if you really want everything,
if I get one of those games, I get it all. And
oh wow, like you're in for the whole thing. 340, 400.
Yeah, and being extremist that way, it makes me say yes or no whenever I really need it.
Hey, Jeremy has a good point here. Jeremy says, I think that when you see Grimm Forest, you definitely want to see their other games, and maybe that's the goal.
Yeah,
not bad. Kind of following up with one you said. BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, Gumbo Live. I've got Chris Strain from Breaking Games here. How about another game? Let's talk about another game that has a lot of good production value, and actually maybe you and I are on the same page on this one. Let's talk about Dinosaur Island from Pandasaurus Games. What's your thoughts on that one?
Sorry, being contacted by somebody. Yeah, Dinosaur Island. I was really surprised, actually. I thought, you see hype for games, and you think, maybe it can't be as good as that and stuff. This one jumped up real far for me right off the bat. I played it 3 times now, and I've only had it for maybe 2 weeks, so maybe 2.5 weeks. And that's a lot for me because I get a lot of games. But it had a little more complexity to it than I thought it would because of the colors and stuff. Again, it's a kind of it's a production kind of thing that makes you think, oh, it's probably lighter and more thematic, American style game than what you think. But it's a good Euro. I mean, it's a solid Euro.
It's a real solid Euro. You know what I liked about it? I likened it to being 4 games all in one. And each one of the 4 individual games, and I'm talking about the stages, they felt almost like 4 different games. But each one of the 4 games was a nice game in and of itself. But when you put all 4 of them together, there was really some long-range thinking and planning that you had to do. I saw everybody at our table, at least the one play I have it, our group has played it 2 or 3 times, but the one play I did get of it, every single person went with a different strategy. And everybody but me was in it till the end. So, I mean, I wasn't. That's pretty usual for these efficiency games. I don't always do that well. But so that's always an impressive game to me that can have a bunch of different things going on, and everybody's got a chance. Everybody's got a chance, even though they're doing different strategies.
Yeah, what you say about the 4 different games, I could see that. One of the things I like about it is I like games that you have to think about where do I want to go and then figure out the path that you have to do to take it. But this doesn't feel like one of those where you're doing math in your head all the time. You know what I'm talking about? Like going this and this and this will give me 5 points, but this and this and this will give me 7 points.
Power grid.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, exactly. It just feels very fluid, very natural. I was very impressed with it.
Dave Dugas says, hey, I missed out on our playthrough, but I did threaten to beat up one of our group members so I could take it. So it is true. One of the guys has been able to miss a couple of the last play sessions, and Dave said if he doesn't come, I'm going to go over there and take that game and bring it because I think this is going to be a game right up Dave Dugas' alley. I mean, the production. What did you think of the production? The colors were an unusual choice, man.
Honestly, the colors are what grabbed my attention. I mean, you love the whole Jurassic Park thing and everything like that, but I love games that take on a different look and feel. I mean, Wasteland Express, another game by them, that the whole look and feel of it is what grabbed me in the first place. Graphic Sky. So anything you do different or original from what's normally out there. In fact, that's why. Asking for Trobils looks the way it does. I didn't want another Photoshop space-looking game.
Yeah, why don't you have a grumpy alien in the front of a big lake with farms behind it? I don't understand that. You're supposed to have that on top of a Euro game.
Yeah.
No, you gave us a different look.
Yeah.
Now, with Dinosaur Island, is that the one that has the crazy first player token?
They had their first player token. First of all, you don't need it because they have a little
band, right?
Is it?
It's the one that has the slap band, right?
Oh, maybe that was a Kickstarter thing. I didn't.
Okay.
I bought mine from. I missed the Kickstarter. I never even saw it. Otherwise, I would totally been on it. But I just got mine from a store. So
I hope I don't have the wrong game. I think it's Dinosaur Island. It comes with an actual slap band that you pass around between the 4 people. It's kind of cool.
The only first player marker I know of in there is it's kind of a tile like this, and it's got the mosquito and the amber. But I just leave it in the box. You don't need it because there's I think it's the scoreboard keeps track of who's first, second, third. So.
But if you had a slap band, you'd use it, right?
That's nice. It's a good idea. If they're the ones that did it, it's good. Oh, well, it's a good idea no matter who did it.
Hopefully somebody can check in with us that's played it and let us know. That is Dinosaur Island. Oh, yeah, look, there's Dave Duga. Yes, it's a 1990 slap band.
Huh. That's cool. I remember this when I was a kid.
All right, well, let's talk about the big one. Chris Strain here on Gumbo Live. BJ from Board Game Gumbo talking to Chris Strain from Reagan Games. Let's talk about the big hitter, the one everybody's talking about, the one our group can't seem to stop playing, Gloomhaven. You've played Gloomhaven, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, so I'll get some hates for some people, I'm sure. I kickstarted it. No, not saying I don't like it. I'm saying I kickstarted it, the very first Kickstarter. I still have not opened my copy.
Wait, what?
I still haven't opened my copy, but I played it at a convention. I know, right? It's on my shelf of shame, they call it.
Shelf of opportunity.
Opportunity. Well, when you have 100+ games on there, it's a little bit more of a shame.
Okay, Chris, we got to work on that, man.
So, yeah, but I finally got to play it actually at a local con here a few weeks ago. And so it was fun. Yeah, Alcon, yeah. Okay. Have you ever been to Alcon?
No, I wanted to go this year. I just couldn't make it, but hopefully next year.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's maybe 1,200 people, something like that. Very small con, playing games.
No, it's a good size con, man.
Yeah,
like to do that.
Well, I say small con, but it's not. It is a good size con. I'm just used to Gen Con.
Yeah, that's a perfect size con. So tell us about Gloomhaven. You got to play it. What'd you think?
So I just played, I guess, what the intro level is. Some of my impressions are based off of how it was given to me. We were given a very strict time to play it. So the story element was kind of glossed over real quick. It was like, blah, 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 and you're here. And it became a very dungeon crawl. I like story, and I felt like, why are we here? Like, I just had no idea why that was happening. So some of that was presentation. That's not game's fault. So my first impression is a little tainted. But I know that's not the game's fault, so I'm happy to try it again. Of course, I have my own open copy, but basically I just got the dungeon crawl feel for it. However, I do like the mechanics of the cards. That was really good. Using for those that haven't played, the 2 cards where you pick the top side and the bottom side of it. That was really interesting. Every time you went, you had something do I do this and save it for the other one? That was really good.
BJ from Board Game Gumbo here. I've got Chris Strain. Chris, I think we're getting some feedback from your mic. If you could turn down the sound on your computer. I think so.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have headphones here, do I? Hold on. Let's see. I could put headphones in. That might solve everything. If I can remember where my headphones are.
Jeremy Davis says, hey, I'll come open up that box for you, Chris Strain, anytime you're ready.
Yeah, I get offers like that every time I tell people that it's another problem is I just couldn't get my group to commit to a campaign setting. So
Steve O'Rourke says, calling your shelf of shame a shelf of opportunity is just a way of raising your shelf.
Yeah.
Tip your servers. Steve will be here all week. No, Chris, going back to Gloomhaven, we are having a blast with it. Dave Duga and I started with a couple of people, and I got to level 2, and then Dave's wife has kind of taken over, but I got enough of the taste. I got 5 or 6 scenarios in there, and I had a blast with it. I really enjoyed Gloomhaven.
Which one are you playing? What's your character?
I'm playing the rogue character. What do they call it?
Oh, that's the one I played.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that was cool. There's a weird thing to it to where you can't do anything to dodge or anything like that, right? Somebody just does damage to you.
That's it.
Yeah.
You can throw cards away.
Right, to negate it kind of thing. But I thought it was kind of strange that like you could hit the big guy or you could hit the rogue pretty much the same amount of damage. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I mean, I guess they have like armor and stuff like that to negate it. But there's no, my deftness, my quickness doesn't negate anything.
Yeah, there's the picture of the scoundrel up there. Lexi Scholar, law scholar. Lexi Scholar. Jeremy Davis says they're playing and waiting for the bard to be unlocked. Yeah, Dave will have to let me know. I don't think we've unlocked the bard yet either, so I'm not positive about that.
It's weird. It's a weird decision to have the bard be something unlocked instead of started with, because I guess in my experience, the bard is not the most coveted kind of position in role playing, right?
I don't know. Down here, it always seems to be one of the most popular RPG characters. Everybody wants to play the bard.
Huh. That's pretty cool. I don't think I've played an RPG where someone has been pure bard all the way through. I had a cohort, but
Well, hopefully you get more taste of. Dave says he just unlocked the bard on Sunday. Hopefully you get some more taste of Gloomhaven. I've gotten, I guess, 5 or 6 scenarios in, and I really enjoyed it. I love the combat system. I love the decisions that you have to make with your deck before you start a game. You kind of have to think about what the scenario is going to be and what cards you're going to need. It also depends on your party. Do you have a tank? Do you have a healer? You know, what cards do you need to bring in? The scoundrel has a little bit of healing in the deck, but why bring it if you've got a good healer?
Right. Yeah.
No luck on the headphones?
Yeah, I was looking for them because you're starting to lag, and I think that's what's causing the sound. Let's see. Give me a second, I'll go find some.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sorry.
BJ from Game Gumbo here. We're talking with Christian Strain from Breaking Games. We've gone over a couple of games here today. We talked about the Grimm Forest, talked about Dinosaur Island, talked about Gloomhaven. Got a couple more comments here. Jeremy Davis says, hey, I just like causing trouble. And Dave Dugas says, the bard is awesome. You get to sing a song that gives your team a bonus, and the song can stay out as long as they don't sing a different song. So Dave, does it use... Yeah, exactly, Steve O'Rourke. Now batting for the Boston Red Sox.
There we go.
We're not getting that echo anymore there. That's the way it works, Chris. Appreciate that.
Excellent. No problem.
I think that's what it was. It was picking up the feedback and starting the lag to go. While you were gone, we were talking about the bard. Dave said, hey, the bard's awesome. You get to sing a song that gives your team a bonus, and the song can stay out as long as they don't sing a different song. Have you gotten far enough in the game where you have to deal with the different little elements, the moon and the sun and the stars and all that stuff?
No. I just played that intro game, really. It was just I got to test the mechanics, basically. Like I said, I didn't get a good good feel for the story element and stuff like that. And I knew there was more to look into. So,
BJ from Game Gumbo Live. I've got Chris Strain from Breaking Games. Hey, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about a game you are well familiar. What is going on with Asking for Trobils? We just kind of mentioned that you're the designer at the start of the show, but you've signed a contract with Breaking Games. They reprinted it over here in 2017 and 2018. You've done a lot of splashes all over the country. How's the reception been on this second edition of the game?
It's been really great. One of the things, it doesn't play that much different from the original. We had a few cards that changed, and we have those for anybody who wants to get those to update their old set. But for the most part, it was just artwork and then a little bit of production. And to get it from the $65 count down to the $45 count. That was a big deal for us.
I've got up on screen the riffraff cards and the tokens, and I was curious, were those a part of the original game?
The cards?
Yeah, the riffraff as a mechanic and the cards and the tokens.
Yeah,
and all that.
Yeah, they were. They all had the same backgrounds, and they worked pretty much the same. I think those smugglers, not smuggler, the bounty hunter is the only one that works a little differently, but they had stands and everything like that. The only difference is art-wise is that we changed the backgrounds of the ones that were all the same. Like those 2 pink ones, both do the same thing. And out there on the board, they now have pink backgrounds, so you can instantly know who's who. Versus the green ones over there do something else.
Hey, we got a friend of yours checking in, Peter Vaughn.
Oh, Peter.
Asking for Troubles, Save Planet Paradise. That's right, Peter.
Yeah, the Troubles in Paradise.
Troubles in Paradise. That's right. So one of the things that did change from the Kickstarter and from yours is some of the tokens themselves changed, but they still have the gems, representing the yellow and the black. I forgot what they exactly are called, but
ore and crystals, ore
and crystals, that's right, and space crystals and ore. But the rest of them were all cardboard tokens, and actually they all, to me, match up with the symbols and the artwork that's in the game. So I saw it as a net positive, to tell you the truth.
Right, I agree. There was some people that wanted the wood bits, and I even, if you go to bgg.com and look at the forums, I put a place where you can actually go and upgrade it, go get the wood parts if you want. But truthfully, matching the icons with the look of the carrots and the mega traps and all that stuff, that was a huge bonus to going to Punch Out. Not to mention the fact that it's $20 cheaper doing that. So
sure.
And honestly, aren't we all tired of the wooden cube at this point?
Not me and Dave.
We got tons of cubes. If you want cubes, just take them out of any other game you got.
That is true. We can always get cubes. My buddy, I've got a buddy, Jason Dinger, who's a game designer, and a lot of times he actually removes some of the cardboard and puts in generic wooden cubes. It's just, he's gotten so used to that European style. That's what he wants. Yeah, I mean, if it works, it works. The thing for me was I don't have an image of it here, I don't think, but the old icon of ore didn't look remotely like the black crystals at all. Okay. And it was just a big, huge disconnect when we demoed it. So whenever I went back with this one, I definitely wanted the user-friendly aspect of it to be. This is a picture of one of the demos I did for Envoy at our local game store. And as you can see, this is the kind of thing that I actually got 2 or 3. It's a comic book store, it's a Warhammer store, and it's a board game store. And I got 2 or 3 groups that don't even play board games at all to sit at the table. And, awesome. And I'm giving you kudos here, Chris. The reason is that big, round, circular board with all the crazy orange colors and all these, everything going on. People would pass by and say, okay, what is this? And that's one of the things I love, games that grabs people's attention, like a Grimm Forest, in all honesty, that grab people's attention when they walk by and they say, what are you playing?
Right. Just like I was saying, instead of going with the basic, everything looks like the normals. You look at all these different space games, they all look like, Photoshop, 3D spaceships and all that stuff. I wanted something that looked totally different, just like Dinosaur Island and all those other games we were just talking about. They have a specific look that is unmistakable. Like, this is something new. The artwork always makes you think that the gameplay is going to be something, even if it's not. That's a communication error on the graphic designer's part if it's not. But when you see something look different, you think maybe it'll play different. So
Dave knows that one of my favorite games, one of my top 3 games of all time, is Concordia, which has multiple boards. You got boards this way. You can pull out extra boards. Matt Gertz, it seems like he has a new board every 6 months, and he's picking on you. He doesn't have a double-sided board.
The original one did, not this one.
It did have one, right?
Right. The original one had the orange and white. Yeah, the orange and white board was from the original Kickstarter. And we said in the Kickstarter that only Kickstarter people would get that version, and so we always kept to that. That was important to me to keep that.
Well, that was a game that was played your Kickstarter version was played many, many times at Louisiana Comic Con a couple of years ago. And so Dave knows that game very well because he and Dustin were playing it a lot with new gamers. BJ from Board Game Gumbo here on Gumbo Live, episode number 33. I've got Chris Strain from Breaking Games coming in. Hey, one of the last games I want to talk about is another game that I really like, and I think you like it too. Let's talk about Deception. I hear that you've got the new expansion. I don't know how much content you've broken out of it, but what's your thoughts on Deception as one of those underrated, in my opinion, the best social deduction game that's out there? It's my favorite by far.
Yeah, I just heard somebody else say that too recently, and I have to agree. The weird thing is that most social deduction games I cannot get my group to get into. Every time I pull this one out, in fact, I've been bringing it so much lately that when I brought the new box, I just moved everything from the old game into the new game box. When I brought the new box, they were they read it and went, deception. Oh, it's not the one we like. And I was like, no, it is. They were like, yeah, and we played it immediately. It was great. I don't know what it is. Why? I mean, it's such a simple, kind of easy game to get into, but it just hits that mark just perfectly, right? Gets you interested. I like playing the forensic scientist, mostly just because I like to see how people work. I take note of that, so for whenever I'm not the forensic scientist, I watch them.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a great game. The new one, like I told you earlier before this, but I haven't played the new roles in the expansion, but I definitely took the cards and threw them in there. In fact, one of the new cards is a spear, which we talked to Gray Fox whenever I was running a campaign for Rise of Tribes, and they made that card specifically for Rise of Tribes because we were cross talking about each other. Yeah.
That's really cool. You know, I heard on a podcast just the other day with somebody saying why they like Deception so much. I think it might have been Secret Cabal. They were saying something about it's. In fact, it was Dan King talking to the Secret Cabal and telling Steve why he thought that Steve would like the game, and it's because it's the one game where when you're bluffing or lying about it, it's almost natural because in all of the other games that you play where you have to bluff or you have to lie or you have to puff, you're staring at your cards and you're trying to remember your story and you're trying to keep it straight, and then somebody's confronting you. That's not the way Deception works. It's everybody naturally going, well, he put a bullet down on here by the school and this person has pencils. That he must be the murderer, right? I mean, it's just a natural way of bringing out.
Right. I heard that podcast too. I think that's what I was thinking of. I agree. There's not that nervousness. Like, do I say anything? Do I not say anything? If I talk over here, are people going to examine what I'm saying here? Everybody's just kind of freely talking. It's almost like you forget that somebody here is hiding, trying to lie about it. Yeah. It's
you
very
feel like
natural.
everybody's working together and then you find out you're not.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas when you play, the Resistance, for instance, you're always looking for the person who starts talking, and you're always looking for the person who doesn't talk at all, and they switch.
Yeah. I have a hard time in those games because I don't come across as very trustworthy when I'm playing those games. Instantly, people always say, "You're always evil," and I'm like, "It's random. I can't control if the card comes my way." And they're like, "No, it's." So I like Deception because for that exact fact, people don't just instantly go, "You're the murderer," based off of what I've done in past games.
Yep. There's no meta in Deception. It's just what's on the table and what the clues are. Steve O'Rourke checking in says, still have to play Deception, anxious to try it. Family enjoyed Mysterium, but I wonder how much it was due to the fact that I couldn't talk. Well, you may have to do some talking in Deception. Other cool thing about Deception, the games don't take that long. So you can play 3, 4, 5, or 6 in one sitting, and it doesn't feel like you played a long time.
I also like the kind of 30-second thing. You do that in the round where everybody gets like 30 seconds to talk and you can't interrupt them, because there are some people that just naturally don't butt in the conversations and get their opinion out there. And
are y'all strict about that rule with the 30 seconds all the way around the table?
I time it because we have people that will, and I'm one of them, that will take over the conversation. Okay. And just kind of run it. And I like the fact that everybody has a chance to say their part,
I've actually never done it that way. Yeah, and I just noticed the other day that was in the rules because I was taught the game by someone else. I've got my own copy now. In fact, my son has a copy. He loves the game too, so we have 2 copies in the house. But I noticed that rule the other day when I was kind of reading through the rules when I got the expansion. It's like, we need to enforce that because every once in a while the game breaks down when somebody's taken over.
It might be the reason why my group likes it more than all the other ones, because we have several people in there that are kind of more quiet natured, and don't want to scream over or talk. Not that they're screaming in this game, but don't want to interrupt or butt in with their kind of ideas. Plus, if you are the murderer, it still makes you talk. You know how you might not want to talk that much when you're the murderer, kind of thing. So I like it.
BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, Gumbo Live here with Chris Strain from Breaking Games. Chris, I want to talk about a couple of projects that you're actually working on, if you're comfortable with talking about it. Yeah, one of those games I think you're doing a Kickstarter for Tell me about this Sparkle Kitty Nights that's coming up on Kickstarter.
Okay, have you played Sparkle Kitty?
No, I have not played it.
Okay, so well, Sparkle Kitty. Actually, Peter's still on here. He'd probably be able to tell you even more about it. He's a developer for it. Is he on there? I can't see all the list of people, but so Sparkle Kitty's great kind of family game. In fact, it came out at the same time as Asking for Trobils at Gen Con, and Manny Vega, who designed it, running right next to us. We had 2 tables of Trobils. He had a huge table of this, and it's basically Sparkle Kitty is a party game, and it's a lot of people playing it. You have you get different princesses, and you're getting 2 words, and you're playing like that. You just hear people saying the silliest stuff and laughing hysterically the whole time. So it's one of those kind of fun get together real quick and play a quick game. And then Sparkle Kitty Nights is a game that I'm going to help bring Kickstarter with Breaking Games. It's May 1st when they come out. So, and that's going to be, oh, there you go.
There's Peter checking in. Nobody puts princes in a tower. Cast silly spells and save yourself.
Yeah, very fun. I kept, every time I was done demoing Trobils, I had to walk over and kind of watch them playing and stuff. It was too fun. Yeah, that's a good, Peter put up a good comment.
Uno meets Epic Spell Wars, like.
Yeah.
Oh, very interesting. It's a lighter game that you can teach a lot of people, get people in and out. Maybe a good start of the night type of game, or end of the night type of game.
Definitely. I love games like that. Yeah. I love games like, I always do it at the beginning of the night, because then we have so many people who split off to different tables, and then who knows when those games are going to meet up. But yeah, it's a great game, and we have a Kickstarter coming out May 1st for the night version. So more of a adult, although it's just silly, silly sounding new words for the most part that replaces it, I think. But I'll let Peter put in any information or images if you have some. I don't know if he does or not.
I don't. Kickstarter coming out though. You said April 6th. When is it?
First. No, May 1st.
Oh, May 1st. Sorry, May 1st. So Kickstarter for Sparkle Kitty Nights coming out on May 1st. Oh, so we'll be looking at that. And that's coming from Breaking Games?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. And your role on the project, you're managing the Kickstarter, I guess?
I'll definitely be helping with the Kickstarter. Peter may be managing it, or I might be. It just depends on our situations there.
This is the adult version of it. This is the darker version. Okay.
Exactly. The naughty version, yeah. Team play as well, yeah. I forgot about that. It is so much stuff to keep track of it. I'll be helping with making videos and graphics or whatever they need me for.
That's awesome. BJ from Board Game Gumbo here. My special guest tonight on Gumbo Live, episode 33, Chris Strain. Chris, you've been doing a lot of different work. I mean, I'm trying to count all the hats we've talked about tonight. And one of those hats that we led off with a little David Letterman type segment on what is the day in the life of a graphics dude. But one of those that I'm really interested in is a game from Gray Fox Game called Reavers of Midgard. What's your involvement of Reavers of Midgard? I think we have some promotional artwork to show.
Yeah. Do you have that, or do I need to give that to you?
I've got it.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
We're professional over here on Gumbo Live, man.
Yeah, you are. You got it all set up. So I've been doing the art direction for this game for a while, actually. You can see what kind of artwork we have on there. It's I'm going to try to say his name right. Yaroslav Radicki. I think
okay. Yaroslav Radicki.
Yeah, pretty much a new artist guy that Shane over there, Gray Fox, Shane Myerskoff found and hired for this game. And I've just been directing artwork. I mean, I can't take credit for the artwork or anything like that, but wish I could. It's gorgeous if you look at that.
I mean, Chris, this is gorgeous artwork, man. I've got it up on the screen right now. What are we looking at? We're looking at the monsters and maybe a hero in the game?
Yeah, you got 2 different monsters in there. Don't ask me to pronounce the names.
Okay.
It is crazy. I think there's like one vowel amongst all 3 of these guys. But, and then you've got one of the veterans over on the right there that you get to grab for yourself. It's I even have the dice here. I don't know why I had these dice, but it's the Midgard.
Soul of that. Hold on, put that up again.
You know the Champions of Midgard game.
Sure.
Yeah, these are the dice from there, but they're going to be using the same dice and stuff like that.
Steve says, "Hey, those look like the Midgard serpent inside that almost brought to life in that artwork."
Yeah, I mean,
is that the right word? Jormungandr?
I think that might be it. Actually, he's called the spawn of. So he's the child of one of them. I could find those.
So I was interested in the game. You know, you and I, when we last talked about asking for troubles, the cool thing that I like about asking for troubles is that bumping mechanic.
Yeah.
They have something kind of neat in Reavers of Midgard, if I'm reading it right. It's a single worker placement type of a game. So almost like action selection, where you pick what everyone at the table is going to do as they go around. At least that's the picture in my head of what Reavers of Midgard is going to be.
It's more like what's the best way to put it? So the first person to a spot gets a better version of it. And so, and I don't want to say too much out of turn because there's a few things that they're tweaking and stuff, and I don't know what's going to end up being there and all. But
so Jeremy wants to know, it's the same universe from Champions.
Same universe, right? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, before you were Champions of Midgard, now you're the Reavers of Midgard. You're leaving that area and going and attacking raiding villages and keeps and monsters and stuff like that.
I'm trying to think of a recent game that I played where you always got the better version of it. Rising Sun had it where you got the better version if you had a partner. You got the better version, and there's some games that have that. You get better if you're the main person. Well, Puerto Rico.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Right. It's kind of a weird play on that, although I think it's more of it's worker placement, so it's not just I do a thing and now everybody else gets to do the small thing. It's more like I do a thing and now if you want to do the thing, it has to be a little bit smaller than mine. But
yeah, there's the Brent checking in. He says it's the same. He and Jeremy Davis say Champions is one of their favorites, and they are both in. Look, we're selling games for Gray Fox Game right here.
Yeah, so they don't need my help.
You got to play test it a little bit? Yeah.
I got to play test it early on, and then they've done some changes. I haven't gotten to play test the new change. That's why I'm kind of hesitant on exact mechanics. I don't want to speak on something that might have changed. But yeah, it was definitely fun. And one of the things that Shane said, Shane Myerscough, from Gray Fox, he's told me that have you played the Valhalla expansion for Champions of Midgard yet?
Yeah, one part. There's like a bunch of different modules, if I remember right.
There's Valhalla, and then there's Darkness, or the Mountains of Darkness. I want to say is the other one.
I have not played that one.
Okay, so the Mountains of Darkness. You'd think I know this. I did the whole map for them. The Mountains of Darkness is like they bring in a different type of monster from the mountains, kind of thing, and so it doesn't change mechanics that much. It just gives you, I think, bow and arrow, like archers. But the Valhalla one really, like a lot of people say, it took the game from here to here as far as like
it did.
A deep kind of thing. And what Shane told me was that he wanted to start this one at that level already. Already at that deep level. Instead of like if you're being introduced to, the expansions are great, Brent. If you're being introduced to it and you're kind of like a new gamer, start at Champions, then try that one, and then go to Reavers kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this name, Burgersar. I don't know the lore behind Champions of Midgard. Is that one of the? What is Jeremy referring to there? Any idea?
I can actually look up what his name is. I need to.
Burgersar. Jeremy, you got to help us there, Jerm.
Let's see.
I don't know.
The serpent is the spawn of. You're gonna make me try to say it. Jormungandr. It's like one vowel in here. Yeah, there you go. He's got it. Steven's got it. That's the spawn of Jormungandr. And then the other one to the left is Lindbacker. something like it's a giant whale who's.
Oh, Jeremy was talking about one of the monsters, I think, from Dark Mountains, Burger Star.
Oh, yes, that's what they're called. Thank you.
And you worked on the playmat for Mountains?
Oh yeah, when they were doing their Kickstarter, that the whole rollout playmat that they had. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it came with the Kickstarter. I put all that together for them. I took the different art pieces and put it together and made the scoreboard around it.
Man, I would need Dave's help. I don't remember. We played one of the game group guys, Kent, in our game group, and I don't remember if it was a playmat or not. I don't remember.
It's a huge rollout kind of mouse pad feel to it.
Sure.
It's really nice to have, but it's just a plus, something that you could have just gotten for.
I like playing on playmats. I've been playing bottom of the ninth on my playmat, and man, it's so much. It's organized. It's so much fun. It's easy to slide things around, and they don't just go whoosh on the table. They stay where you put them.
I did actually get to put a piece of artwork in the original Champions of Midgard. Not the original, the expansion. One of those cards I got to do one of the pieces, so that was fun.
Remember the name of it?
It was one of the promo adventure cards for you finding wreckage. It gave you $1.
Okay,
it was an extra. Yeah,
I'll have to check with Kent and see if he's got that.
It was like a broken ship, and it shows another ship in the background coming to it. Wreckage, something like that. That was just something fun to do.
I am going to have to find that. Well, Christian, you know that we always like playing games here on the Gumbo, right?
Yep.
Got to end the night with a game. Are you ready for the Bon Marche game?
Sure.
The Bon Marche game. Bon Marche, just a little Cajun word for something that's a good deal. So Steve and I can't take credit. Steve did a lot of the work on this. So Steve and I are going to throw two different things at you, and you got to tell us which one's the better deal.
Okay.
All right. Oh, Jeremy says it's the shipwreck card. He is familiar with your card, the shipwreck card. All right. So, which one's the better deal, Christian Strain? The Houston City Pass, which gives you entrance to Space Center Houston, Downtown Aquarium, the Museum of Natural Science, the Houston Zoo, even the Kima Boardwalk if you want to. Is that a better deal? And I don't reveal the prices. You have to know them. Or Cyclades by Bruno Cathala with the Hades expansion and all painted miniatures.
I'm going to have to go with Cyclades.
Prices on eBay only.
I'm going to have to go with Cyclades only because it gets to be about 120 degrees here in Texas. And out there on Kima, it can be pretty bad.
Down at the Kima Boardwalk, you don't want to be down at the Kima Boardwalk in July.
It's pretty fun, but you got to... I don't know if I'd be able to use that. I've never gotten the pass, honestly. I've been to all those places, but I don't know if I'd go out that much, honestly.
Brad says he knows your card too, man. Christian, you are famous.
Oh, cool.
Man. Brad says, go for what's in the box. What's in the box?
What's in the box?
So the Houston City Pass, $59. Cyclades by Bruno Cathala with Hades expansion and painted miniatures, $80 on eBay. But to me, you're right. That's a better deal.
Yeah.
It's a better deal, especially in July in Houston.
Yeah.
All right, it's number one. Number two, and this one I even have, I think I've got some pictures for it. And Steve says, be careful. Houston will melt your minis. That is true.
That is true.
If you haven't been in South Louisiana or South Texas or Southeast Texas, it gets pretty hot in July. How about this one? Asking for Troubles, second edition board game from Breaking Games. Let the announcer finish the game. So, Asking for Trouble, second edition board game from Breaking Games. Or let me throw up this graphic here. Let me take this down. Or Asking for Trouble, audiobook, a mystery by Anne Granger. Which one is the better deal?
I think I'll have to go with Asking for Troubles.
Wait, which one? I heard Asking for Trouble. So it's not the audiobook?
Trouble with the S on there. Yeah, not the audiobook.
Not the audiobook?
No.
Audience, which one is the better deal? Is it Asking for Troubles, the second edition board game from Breaking Games, or Asking for Trouble, mystery novel audiobook by Anne Granger? Clearly it's Asking for Troubles. The board game, price somewhere between $40 or $50. The Asking for Troubles mystery novel audiobook is only $8, but is not nearly as good of a deal. You get so much more enjoyment.
You get more. Yeah, you can keep playing Trobils once you hear the audiobook.
Jeremy didn't like that one. Peter Mullen says Trobils, nothing but trouble. Okay, what our last one on Gumbo Live here, doing the Bon Marche game with help from Steve O'Rourke. How about this one? Kraken Games 2017 Kickstarter promo from the Game Boy Geek. The Translucent Ship. You remember that one, right?
Yeah, I got them over here. So
the Translucent Ship from Kraken Games 2017 Kickstarter promo, and I can't take credit for this one. This one's straight from Steve O'Rourke. Or a Kraken Rum surfboard. It's even painted with the Kraken Rum logo on it.
Well, it's not my logo.
It's the Kraken Dark Rum, though. Kraken Dark Rum.
Considering the fact that I can't swim, I'll have to go with the promo ship.
The better deal, God, Chris, you got all three of them right. The better deal is the Kickstarter promo, which you can get on eBay for $13. The Game Boy Geek Translucent Ship $13 promo. The Kraken Rum surfboard is $288 for a surfboard. What are you going to do in Houston with a Kraken Rum surfboard?
Yeah, you can't go surfing in Houston.
No, you can't go surfing. And that is the Bon Marche game. Very well played, Christian Strain. I thought you did fantastic on that one.
Great. Once the headphones were in, it was good.
All right, we did have one last game to talk about. You've been working on a game, Fate of the West, and I'm kind of interested in it. You know why? Because I like Western style game. I was this close to pledging Legends of the what's the name of the game? I'm gonna forget
Western
now.
Legends.
Western Legends. This close to pledging it, and they put it back. You can still get in it, and I am so tempted every day because it's a sandbox game. I love Western sandbox. I mean, that appeals to me. Tell me about Fate of the West. You got me curious now. What's this game about?
So Fate of the West is a game that I designed with Derek Funkhauser, and it's a worker placement game, a dice worker placement game. A lot of these recently. Dice worker placement game, and it has story elements in it so that you can kind of decide white hat or black hat as you go along in the game. And so, in fact, I've got a couple cards right here. So let's say this is all artwork just pulled off the internet, but let's say you got the preacher character here and you're friends with him, right? And when you get a card here, you can decide if you're going to get the white hat version or the black hat version.
Ooh.
And the white hat version, like this one, for instance, it says a hustler has made the preacher's kid turn rebellious. You form a posse and run the scoundrel out of town. You are happily given a small reward for your help. And everybody gets one cow, one resource kind of thing. Or you could pick the black hat. It says a preacher kid offers a lot of opportunity. Some well-placed words and a touch of rebellion will have them willing to help you steal from their father. And then only you get the resource and the gold. So at the end, it sounds like being bad is good, but at the end you get more points if you're good than you are bad. So there's a lot of times when I see people say, I'm going to play this game as a white hat, and then they just start getting too tempted by what's on that black hat version.
Uh-huh.
So I love seeing people get corrupted by what they're being tempted for and stuff like that. So there's some story to it, different characters that you interact with, bartenders and bankers and stuff like that.
What's the play count?
We are trying to get it up to 5, maybe 6. It works fine with 4 right now. We're testing 5 and 6 right now. Because the more people you get to the table, the better, as long as it doesn't drag on or anything like that.
And what's the play time?
Right now, it's between 60 to 90 minutes, and we're trying to cut that a little bit back. But it still plays really quick because on your turn, you place a die, you do that action. You don't come and worker placement stuff. There's another cool thing about it, though, that unlike most worker placements, the buildings that you go to and stuff don't stay the same. If you go there, it's a deck of cards. And as you go, the next round, this card goes away, and the building's just slightly a little bit different.
Okay.
And sometimes an event might happen like a shootout at the saloon. So suddenly that spot looks crazy, and everybody wants to go there and be part of the shootout and stuff. So it's got a lot of interesting new kind of mechanics.
So where are you in the not the production? I mean the development. Is the game finished? Still working on it? 80%?
I'd say it's 90% finished outside of artwork and stuff. It's just got my crummy artwork on it right now.
Are you planning to do the artwork, or you're open to a publisher doing it?
I don't really have the time to do the artwork. I initially was going to do the artwork, and I've done a few pieces, but I'd rather just have somebody who's awesome take on the thing and have the time to do it. I've got too much stuff to work on. But yeah, the other than artwork being put on there and a little bit of graphic design touch-ups, we're pretty much there. The only thing, like I said, we're testing for 5 or 6 players.
I'm interested. Keep me posted on that. I want
Sure.
to check that out. All right, board gamers, that's it for another episode of Gumbo Live. I want to thank my guest, Christian Strain. Thank you for coming in from Breaking Games. Reach you, Chris.
Thanks. It was fun.
How can they reach you? How can they reach you out there in the social media world?
I'm out there on Facebook. I have a Twitter, but I'll probably see it every once a week or something. It's because you have to have Twitter. But yeah, I'm on Facebook constantly. Just contact me there. Friendly.
Make sure to like our Facebook page, Facebook Game Gumbo. It helps us get the word out about all of our upcoming guests. This week, we've got Chris Ray of the Opinionated Gamers. I don't know if you're familiar with some of his work. He does a fantastic job blogging, and he's going to tell us what games we should and shouldn't play from the Essen Spiel. I know you're interested in that kind of stuff. So I'm BJ from Board Game Gumbo, and until next time, Chris, Laissez, le bon temps rouler.